What's not to like about Bill Clinton? I mean, seriously, this guy was born with Mars in a conjunction with Venus, and those are the planets of love, the male planet of sex, the Venus planet of love, together with Neptune sandwiched in between. Neptune is a planet that just ups the ante on the Mars and Venus up into a higher realm. It doubles down on it. Mars conjunction Neptune makes a person so charismatic as to be totally noticeable, and everything in the first house here is noticeable in front of the public, which is why this romantic aspect, this sexual aspect of him became so well known through the decades, if not immediately. And Venus conjunction Neptune, now that one adds a kind of like a softness, a grace, a harmony there, a good ability for things like arts and music. And he plays the saxophone. I've seen him late at night on Jay Leno or whatever, or Letterman, playing the sax. So he's definitely got that musical side going for him also. And up here at the top in Leo, he was born with Mercury and Saturn together, and these two planets together give him a lot of gravitas and increase the powers of the mind, especially because Mercury, which rules the mind, is in a sextile aspect to Mars. So you got, anytime you have Mercury and Mars in this particular aspect, the mind is made stronger. He can play games better. He can do the New York Times crossword puzzle with this kind of aspect. People recognize him as an intellect because of that. He can and very good conversationalist also. So anyway, let me see. These planets are in a part of his chart which inclines the company of the rich and powerful, of older people like him, younger people like him, and powerful people like him, because Pluto is here in the 11th house. Pluto and the Sun in the 11th indicate powerful friends, rich and powerful friends. When we look over on this side of the chart, here is his 8th house, and the 8th house has to do with sex, death, with other people's money, with things pertaining to estates and investments and things like that, which he has in common with Hillary. If you see my video on Hillary, she has the moon in the 8th house also. So they're sort of like partners. I don't want to say partners in crime. I hate to say that, but I mean there's definitely some 8th house scorpionic Plutonian thing going on there in terms of wealth. Very interesting. He was born with the moon in a square with the sun. That sometimes, well, I would say some of the time at least, happens in situations where the mother, the moon, and the father, the sun, do not get along that well, or they do not persist, they do not last in that relationship. So I believe that he came from some kind of a broken home type of a situation, which is definitely shown, by that aspect. So this is the chart of a remarkable man who can get away with, I don't want to say he gets away with things. I don't want to say that. As a matter of fact, guess what? He really can't get away with things because the Mars and the Venus and the Neptune oftentimes has a little bit of kinkiness about it. There's just a little bit something strange going on here with that Neptune, subterfuge and things. That is in the public eye because it's so prominent. It's right on the rising sign. People are going to see that. Also, his midheaven is in 5 degrees Cancer, and 5 degrees Cancer and 6 degrees Libra. That's in a square. So that means that eventually some of this stuff comes out. And my God, do you know that he was impeached? He was impeached in the House of Representatives. They did not successfully impeach him, but they sure did try. So let me just look up one little thing with you here, and that's this very powerful Mars conjunction Neptune. I'm looking at Sakoian and Acker, two astrologers that were writing in 1973. Okay, where'd this go? Here we are. Mars conjunction Neptune gives the person strong psychic magnetism. If the conjunction is well aspected, they can have healing abilities. Well, he could have been a doctor. How about that? Dr. Clinton, that would have been something, huh? Abundance of psychic energy is available. They may also be interested in magical forces or the use of occult power. Well, I have heard that Hillary is definitely into something occult, but I'm not sure about Bill. Their desires and ambitions can lead to lofty spiritual achievement, but their goals can also tend toward impractical, unrealistic, overly romantic, and thus lead into misguided activities. Quite often these activities are determined almost entirely by unconscious impulses, and they sometimes result in disaster. The native here has a tendency to act through subterfuge and secrecy. Their movements are often surrounded with mystery. Romantic involvement and exotic or peculiar emotional desires are often present. Sometimes there's a tendency to use treachery may be directed against them through the affairs of the house, which was through the first house. Can be susceptible to bad drug reactions, poisoning, or infectious disease. Well, let's hope not. But anyway, this thing of working through subterfuge and secrecy, that sounds to me like when he met with the FBI director, not the FBI director, pardon me, the Justice Department director there on the tarmac in Phoenix, So maybe something was going on there. Maybe something was going on. A very clever, very positive, very charming chart. This Mars-Neptune, this Mars-Venus is so charming that there were millions of women that fell in love with him, So